Hi, everybody. Welcome back if you've been here before on my intention experiments, and welcome if you haven't done that before and this is your first time. We're holding weekly intention experiments to try to lower the incidence of COVID-19, but also to end a lot of the fear and uncertainty that is surrounding this whole experience. So I hope that you'll join in today and other days and just be part of this global event, because we are all in this together. This virus is ubiquitous. We are fearful, we are locked down, we are isolated, and we need each other more than ever. So today, before I do the intention, I want to talk a little bit about the misinformation that's going around. There is a lot of information trying to disparage vitamin C. And I want to just share with you an article that was just put in Sky News today that was talking about the doctors in New York who have been prescribing critically ill coronavirus patients with large doses of vitamin C. This has been trialed not only in New York, but in China. And this article largely poo-pooed this, not by talking to a number of the doctors who have actually trialed this, not talking to people who are expert in vitamin C, but talking to a dietitian who has had some basic information about supplements and nutrients, and who essentially said there is no evidence to suggest vitamin C can fight respiratory illnesses and viruses like COVID-19, and also that you can get all the vitamin C you need from oranges. What I want to tell you is this kind of misinformation is flying all around the place. It is completely ignorant of the facts. Number one, you cannot get all of the vitamin C you need by eating an orange, largely because most fruits and vegetables do not contain the nutrients they used to, because the farming community and the soil is so depleted now that we don't get the nutrients used to. So most oranges don't contain any vitamin C anymore, unless they're organic, and even then there is a lessening of what we need. You also need heroic doses. When you're fighting viruses, when you're fighting any kind of bug, suddenly your need for vitamin C skyrockets. And the people who have been successful use very high doses, oftentimes intravenous vitamin C. So on this note, by the way, we actually have invited 3 experts on vitamin C who are going to be on a free webinar that we're offering through my company, getwell.solutions. And everybody is welcome to come on and actually hear what the experts have to say about vitamin C. One of them is a doctor called Dr. Damian Downing, who actually was part of the scientists and doctors who put together and trialed vitamin C in Wuhan. And of that trial of using vitamin C on critically ill patients, every single one survived. So please listen in on what the experts are actually saying. Well, the evidence they do have, there's copious evidence about vitamin C and viruses. And we want you to have the truth. So you can find that out by coming on to our free webinar. Tomorrow, we're going to be doing virus killers like vitamin C. And we're also covering over the next couple of weeks how the right foods to boost your immune system, the right moves to boost your lymphatic systems and lymphs and other parts of your immune system, and also simple exercises you can do to turn off your stress responses and turn on your parasympathetic nervous system, to activate it so that you are calm, relaxed, and sane through this challenging time. So I wanted to tell you about that because that's the latest evidence that's coming out, more misinformation about vitamin C. But I also wanted to have you join me today in looking at fear. And, we have exercises and intentions that we've done in past weeks and broadcasts about lowering the incidence of COVID-19. But we also have to lower the fear that we're all experiencing. We're all frightened to even take a letter from our letterbox. We're frightened to pick up some vegetables at a supermarket. We're frightened to touch anything now because we feel that anybody could get COVID-19. But there's a lot of misinformation about that too, that you can do loads of things to boost your immune system, but also loads of things to lower your fear response and to trust that the universe is going to take care of you. So I want us, before we hold our other intention, I want us to hold one intention to be free of fear. So let's hold this for a few minutes before we also go on to our weekly intention to lower the incidence of COVID-19. So I want you to be connecting with everybody on this live broadcast. We have people from around the world joining in and taking part, which is so exciting. And the intention I want us to all hold initially is that each of us be free of fear and completely trust that we will remain healthy, safe, fit, and calm through this challenging time. So let's all imagine that we're in the same room together. We're all holding hands. We're all connecting together. We're all free of fear. And while you imagine this and hold on to this intention, which I'll read again in a moment, I want you to imagine everybody on this live broadcast being healthy, fit, and completely free of fear, trusting that they will be kept safe. They and their loved ones will be kept safe. I want you to see yourself being healthy and well, and all your loved ones getting through this time completely unscathed, being healthy, doing all the right things, eating the right foods, taking the right supplements, making sure you exercise and get plenty of rest, and to observe as that helps your immune system calmly deal with any microbes that come its way, including COVID-19. So we're holding hands now. Imagine that. As we say, our intention is that each of us be free of fear and completely trust that we will remain healthy, safe, fit, and calm through this challenging time. So let's just hold this for a few moments. And when you're imagining it, take those words down to your heart, send it out through your heart, see yourself and your family being healthy and well in every way, and completely free of fear, trusting and knowing that the universe is going to care for you. Okay, let's let go of that intention. Just trust the process. Just feel yourself calming down. Feel yourself being filled with trust and knowing that the universe is going to take care of you. Before we get on to our main intention, focusing on lowering the incidence of COVID-19 and getting back to normal, I also wanted to tell you about some other virus fighters. In my last blog, which I posted last Friday, I wrote about some really interesting evidence about ionizers. Now, these are machines that send out negative ions. An ion is just an electron with charge. And there are too many positive ions in the air when we're surrounded by urban life, computerized equipment, things like that. Whereas in nature, near waterfalls, in forests, there are a lot of negative ions, which are very good for us. But the other thing about negative ions is that they're virus killers, they're bug killers. There was a really interesting study at the University of Leeds, carried out by the University of Leeds in a local hospital in Leeds, where they were having difficulty with antibiotic resistance bacteria. And nothing was killing it. They couldn't kill it with antibiotics. So some scientists decided to trial using a ionizer in a critical care unit, an intensive care unit. And they put it in there and they found that there was absolutely no incidence of this bacteria spreading, this deadly bacteria, but that the negative ions had essentially attached themselves to this bacteria, and it essentially fell on surfaces and was not spreading through the air. And they found that's the case too with viruses in other trials that companies like Sharp have done with an air purifier. That's exactly what happens with air purifiers too. So it's something to look into as another possible way of killing viruses that are in the air. And there is some very decent evidence about this. Now, this should be in every hospital. There should be an ionizer. They should be experimenting with this after some of this evidence. But of course, we don't see that at all in all of the critical care units that are springing up around the world. This is another thing to look into. There are many other natural virus killers that are worth checking out. So I continue to write about this on blogs and in broadcasts. So just stay tuned, check out my blog at lynnmctaggart.com. And we'll also be talking about other virus killers besides vitamin C in our free webinar. And again, if you want to sign up, it's free to everybody. You can get the recordings, you can get downloads. We're just giving this to people. We think everybody needs it at the moment. You can sign up through my website, the homepage of my website, lynnmctaggart.com. You'll just see a link to this Get Well Talks COVID-19, or you can get on to getwell.solutions and find out about it. So let's go on to, and each week when we do these intentions, I want to give you little tips that I find out through my other work about how to keep yourself safe. Let's go on to our other intention that we've held now twice before. We want to do an intention to lower the incidence. Now we've seen in the UK, we're starting to flatten that curve a little bit. And in other areas of the world too, we're seeing just little green shoots here and there where the incidence is going down. So let's set an intention to continue to do so, the deaths and the incidence of it going down. So this week, we want to hold again, our intention is that in every area of the world where the coronavirus is becoming epidemic, that it be immediately, permanently, and completely curtailed by at least 10% or more, with no more fatalities, so that rapid transmission drastically declines. Now, on this intention, I want you to imagine those curves that you see in the newspapers all the time, where the incidence is rising rapidly. I want you to see that once again, that curve flatten, so that the incidence flattens and then goes down. The deaths flatten and go down. See people leaving the hospital. See hospital wards closing, intensive care units closing, them not being needed, those extra hospitals not being needed and closing. And just imagine that, and imagine us being able to lift this lockdown as you hold this intention and get back to normal and get back to business as usual. Our intention is that in every area of the world where the coronavirus is becoming epidemic, that it be immediately, permanently, and completely curtailed by at least 10% or more, with no more fatalities, so that rapid transmission drastically declines. So let's hold this together as we imagine those curves flattening, as we imagine those hospitals closing, as we imagine people no longer being fearful, people being able to go out and go about their business again, us becoming able to turn off lockdown and go out and to associate and socialize with each other again. So just hold that while you send this intention and bring it down once again to your heart. So let's take a deep inhale and a deep exhale. And a deep inhale and a deep exhale. And a deep inhale. And now on the exhalation, take that intention down. Our intention is that in every area of the world where the coronavirus is becoming epidemic, that it be immediately, permanently, and completely curtailed by at least 10% or more, with no more fatalities, so that rapid transmission drastically declines. Imagine you are holding the hands of everybody on this live broadcast, everyone from around the world, joining hands, encircling the world, holding this intention, and imagine those hospitals being closed, those people leaving the hospital in perfect health, shops and restaurants and everything carrying on now as usual, but maybe being changed forever in a good way. And let's hold that for the next minutes. Feel the energy in your body. Feel the connection. Feel yourself being changed by this experience too. Feel the knowing inside you that you are safe, that the epidemic will be calmed, that the fatalities will decline, that the transmission will also decline, and that life, while not the same, will return to an ability to be free and connect and work and go outside again. Just keep holding. Our intention is that in every area of the world where the coronavirus is becoming epidemic, that it be immediately, permanently, and completely curtailed by at least 10% or more, with no more fatalities, so that rapid transmission drastically declines. Let's just hold it for one more minute. Feel the connection, feel the energy. Feel that strong current going in and out of your body, which is the connection with everybody else on this webinar. Okay, in your own time, come back onto this webinar, trust the process, feel confident that this too will pass. And I want to talk to you about one final thing, which is, all we ever see in the newspapers, all we ever hear about are negative stories, negative stories, the number of deaths, the number of injuries, the incidents going up day by day by day. And what I've been thinking about recently is something else, something like this, which was, many people have been talking about how we're naturally evolving and we're becoming a new human. And we don't really have to do anything because evolution is doing it for us. Well, I haven't seen much evidence of that, to be honest, other than isolated incidences of extraordinary kindness and healing and altruism in power of 8 groups and intention experiments. But in the main, life is as selfish and me first and I win, you lose as it ever has been. And maybe we needed a crisis like this to really evolve. Maybe that's what this is all about. I mean, we are seeing some positive news in terms of the environment and the climate. The ozone layer is healing itself. Pollution is way down in so many areas around the world. Certain things are repairing themselves, but maybe it also is repairing human hearts. Maybe once we get past fear, and one thing that we're not hearing about are extraordinary cases of altruism everywhere you look. Everywhere you look, of people reaching out to try to help. And maybe this is what it takes in order for us to find our true genius, our true selves, which are people always willing to give. We've been hardwired to give. I found that out when I wrote my book, The Bond. We give without thinking. When there's an emergency, we enter a burning plane without thinking. So thank you all for being part of this again. I hope it was uplifting. I try to give you some news, some information, as well as intention experiments with our little meetings every week. We'll be carrying on, same time next week, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 noon Eastern, 5 p.m. UK, 6 p.m. Europe, and check your time zones for any other time zones outside of those. And in the meantime, for more information, once again, if you'd like some free information about how to supercharge your immune system, how to stay healthy, fit, and sane and calm in this time, please do come to our webinar or just sign up and you'll get recordings. There's no catch, there's no upsell, they're free. They're free to everyone. We want you to have this information and prosper from it. So thanks for being part of this, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Take care now. Bye-bye.